and they dropped it down another $20,000. I used this method to get my property taxes reduced by $200,000. And today I'm going to show you exactly the steps that I took to get the county to actually agree that they were off by more than half. You want to find out? Come on. All right, boys and girls, Grant in Houston here, where we talk about all things Greater Houston, real estate, finance, and there's no topic as relevant or important for us right now as that of property taxes. It's that time of year again. Homeowners have started to receive these notices in the mail that show us our proposed value for this next year, including information on how to protest that. And today I'm going to show you what I've done, the little method I put together to show us how we can get that property tax number reduced. I'm going to share some of the biggest updates and changes that are relevant for us right now in 2024. And if you stay tuned to the end of this video, I'm actually going to give you a little download link where you can download a cheat sheet guide that's going to make it super easier for you to save a bunch of money yourself this year. The most important piece of advice I can give is remember to do your job. And your job is to get the county appraiser to agree with you. And you want to do that by making it easy for them to agree with you. It doesn't do you any good to come in there and be difficult, to complain. You know, there may be a lot of reasons why we want to protest or try to get our laws changed. But the bottom line is for your property tax assessment this year, you're going to win if you make it easy for that appraiser to agree with you. So keep that in mind. You also got to remember your deadlines. It doesn't matter how strong your argument is or how far off the county is. If you don't protest in time on that date printed on the front of your letter or within 30 days of receiving that notice, you're going to miss out on the entire chance to even present your evidence in the first place and try to lower that tax bill. So what I would do right now is get that date on that letter, pull out your phone, set a calendar reminder, get your calendar out, circle the date on the calendar, build a notification on your phone, an alarm 2, 3, 4, 7 days before. Make sure you circle that thing to at least get your protest in the first place, or else all this is total waste. Now I'm going to share with you right now, you may think this is too simple, but guys, this saved me $200,000 by just being organized, thorough, and deliberate with this. When you're going to protest that property tax bill, use the simple acronym. You want to build your case. The C is for condition. First and foremost, go through your home and document condition issues on the interior and the exterior of your house. Now, you can't use the same things year after year. I mean, they catch on to that, and honestly, that's not fair. But if things have broken or deteriorated in your home, if you have deferred maintenance, this could be like roof damage. It could be cracks. A lot of us have cracks in our flooring or our walls after that dry summer last year. You could have, your bushes, your plants have died off, your grass is patchy, the paint's peeling, the appliances are out of date. Whatever the thing is, find those things that are wrong with your house that may present condition questions that an appraiser can actually agree with. But if you can go through and document with pictures, with notes, showing how things are outdated or damaged or how there's deferred maintenance, that's one of those important pieces of evidence that an appraiser can look at and say, yeah, okay, that's not crazy. I think I can agree with that thing. Next, you want to look at the area around you. You may have some reasons that you can give, some really clear rationale to show why it's not fair to compare your house directly to a neighbor's, even in the same neighborhood with the same characteristics in terms of condition. If you can make an argument that, of course, my house is the same as my neighbor's, but they have tons of trees and beautiful things around them, and all I've got is cars zooming by racing every night. Do you have big power lines around? Are there railroad tracks nearby? Is there some undesirable business nearby? That's something you can make an argument to an appraiser and say, maybe I'm worth $10,000 less or $20,000 less, whatever the number is. By the way, if this is valuable, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button or leave me a comment below on what you liked or what questions you still have about this content, and maybe share it out with someone else. That's super helpful for us, and it can help get the word out to other people. More important than the condition or the area is going to be sales data. This is a really easy fairness argument to make. If you can find a house that's just like yours that is sold for less than what they're valuing yours at, it's pretty easy to say, it's not fair what you're assessing my home at. You should lower mine because the comparables say you've overvalued it. And this is remembering what the mission is of the county appraisal district. They're required by law to determine the market value of a property. They can't charge more and they're not supposed to charge less, or they can actually get audited by the state and get in trouble. So they've got to document what the market value is. And if you give them real sales information showing the market value of a property, it's really easy for them to agree with you. And that's our purpose. You can find some of the sales information by reaching out to your local real estate agent. We do this for tons of our clients in the greater Houston metropolitan area every single year, but I really recommend you have an in-person home valuation done. People don't do these very often anymore, and it's just kind of crazy. But when you bring a professional like us out into your home, and we can walk through and give you an honest third-party opinion of the condition, the area, get a better idea of the actual market value, that's a much stronger case and gives you a stronger packet when you go to protest. And it gives you a good idea of what kind of equity you actually have in your house. So that's a no-brainer. If you want to have an in-person valuation like that done, there's a link below in the comments. You can reach out to us, and we're happy to get that scheduled for you. You can also jump onto the county's website themselves, and they'll show what numbers they've assessed other properties in your neighborhood to be at. And you can make an argument to say, if you've assessed your neighbor for less than me, it's fair for me to be treated the same way they're being treated, and bring that data with those addresses and those prices as part of your overall packet. And the last part of this case method of building this case is just to make sure you've got your exemptions properly applied. It's kind of crazy when you take a look at your stuff and you realize you're being taxed at this super high number and you're not seeing those caps on your taxation because your exemptions aren't in place. The most common one by far is going to be your homestead exemption. That's eligible on one property, the place where you live, 51% of the time. But a lot of the clients we talk to also qualify for an over 65 exemption or a disabled veteran exemption. In some cases, you may have a property that has an agriculture exemption that you could be eligible for. And having those things properly in place and applied to your property can save you a fortune by capping how much you're going to be taxed on each year. When I got my tax bill last year that was more than double the actual value of my house, one of my first thoughts was, I wonder if I need to actually hire an attorney for this. It's okay to hire a tax protest professional or even an attorney if it's a really weird situation. But assuming you can do it yourself, what you'll do then is you'll go to the county website or use the letter they actually include in your appraisal notice, and you'll file a protest. A couple different versions of this. There's a formal and informal, and they'll actually do an electronic settlement a lot of the times. I think the best way to do it is to do an informal protest where you'll go down either on the phone, on Zoom, or face-to-face with someone at the county office, and you'll just present human to human your evidence and try to make it easy for them to agree with you. What I did in my case, where they doubled the value of my house beyond what it was truly worth, is I just went down there with them and I said, hey, I think you're wrong on this, but I have this information that shows what houses have sold for around me. I have this list of conditions that are wrong with the house, and here's the area. I'm close to a railroad track here, or close to an industrial facility, or whatever the thing is, and I think the value actually should be this. I want to be taxed fairly, and I think that's the value right here. And the appraiser pulled it up and they looked and they said, well, there's some other houses here, but yeah, I agree with you. And the number they initially gave me was a little bit higher than what I wanted. So my tip is, come on in there, be kind, make your case with your condition, the area information, your sales data, your exemptions properly applied, and then ask one little secret question. And is there anything else you can do to help me? And they took a look and yeah, they did one more thing. And they dropped it down another $20,000 from where it was. Saved me a fortune. So go on in there, make your case, be kind, be reasonable, and ask that follow-up question, is there anything else you can do? With all these property tax valuations coming in so high, it's important to remember some of these changes. And one of the big changes is these appraisers are absolutely inundated with protests and with angry, disrespectful people these days. So walk in there and remember, watch your protest closely. They may miss it. They may make a mistake there. Make it easy for them to agree with you. If you come in and you're disagreeable, you're difficult to work with, you don't have evidence, you just have anger, you're not going to win. So realize what they're dealing with. They're humans who are required by law to set the property tax number based on what they believe the market value is of that, and the state will come in and audit them independently to determine if they've been fair with that number. So we've got to make sure we give them a file to be able to stand up to their boss or to their inspector, to their auditor, to say, yeah, I lowered Grant's taxes because he gave me some really good reasons to do so. They are slammed, and make it easy for those folks. We also had a proposition passed in November of 23 that went into effect that actually increases our school district homestead exemption from $40,000 all the way up to $100,000. For every taxpayer, that saved us a good chunk of money. And for most folks who have a $350,000 house, that should save you about $1,000 or so on your tax. So we got that nice little relief this year. And for those who own multiple properties, there's still a circuit breaker in effect now that prevents your property tax number from rising too much, too quickly over a 3-year period. So that's a nice little feature. You can always bring that up with your appraiser when you protest to say, is that exemption properly applied? If it's a homestead exemption, and you can ask, is my circuit breaker in effect? Have this thing been triggered triggered yet that's going to cap what my tax number is. Now, all this stuff may be totally new to you. Maybe you're new to Houston. Maybe this is your first time protesting. Our next video, I'm going to walk through Property Tax 101 here in Texas, everything you need to know about the process. And if you check out in the links below, I've got some other links on how to actually do the physical protest in a couple different counties right here around the Houston area. I know it's tough to remember all those different things, but I made it really easy for you. If you click below in the comments, there's a link you can click on that will actually do an automatic home valuation for you. And it's going to send you an email with a download for that free PDF. It's going to give you a cheat sheet guide to answer all those questions and how this stuff works. And you can print that thing up and use that as your guide as you begin to build your case to protest your property tax number. And let us know how we can help out. Grant Houston, out.